The really good thing about this jacket is it's like a pouch here in the front. It's the 13th of December and I still have to get my apples ready for storage over the winter. So you might be able to hear the rain there come down on the greenhouse. So wherever you're watching from, not from Ireland, we've got a lot of rain in the last 3 weeks in particular, and it's getting quite wet out there. So the last few years what I've done is wrapped each individual apple in a newspaper and laid them out in crates and left them here in the greenhouse. So I have a really old cooking apple tree that produces a very good crop. Most years, particularly this year, I think all fruits were really good, so I got a real good harvest. So these were harvested in the September, nearly early October, and usually by November I have the apples wrapped and stored in here for winter. The last couple of years, after I've wrapped them and stored them, I was still able to use them early March the following year, which is quite good. Now you'll have ones dropping off that will rot and all that, but it's not a bad way of storing them. This is the only way I've ever tried to preserving these cooking apples. You know, you can make apple sauces, you can chop them up and freeze them, I think, and all that. But this is the handiest way for me, and I can come out and pick them whenever I want, and then make stuff as I need it. So commercially, apples can store for quite some time in the proper facilities, in cold rooms. In these cold rooms, I think they remove a lot of CO2, which slows down that decaying process. They're set at a certain cool temperature. They're left in the wooden crates and in the dark. The idea of wrapping them individually in the paper, it stops them touching one another. So if one was to rot, and it's in contact with a few other ones around it, that's only going to speed up the process and make the other ones start to rot as well. So yes, I harvested these back early October, and they've been in the buckets and crates since then. There has been a few started to rot already, so you can see. So if that was left in here with the rest, you can see it's touching like 3 or 4 others around it, and that's just going to encourage the others to rot as well. Now they do release the ripening hormone that would encourage others to do the same, but the newspaper does slow down that whole process a lot. Look, it's worked for me the last few years, and I'm going to keep doing it. It's the most convenient way for me here to store these really nice cooking apples. Like brown paper is probably the best material you can use to wrap apples in. So just try and get your hands on some free resources. Old newspapers, I've used those quite a bit. This time of year, a lot of us, I suppose, are getting packaging, and sometimes they fill the boxes up with this paper to stop the stuff moving around inside. Ideal if you can collect a lot of that. It's nice, there's no ink or anything on it either. I use a lot of newspaper. I've got a real old newspaper here that I found in the garage. I'll use that mostly, and then you have other stuff like Amazon seems to send a lot of their packaging, smaller packages with this brown, so you can just tear that up and wrap each apple in that as well. Then you have like brown paper bags. If you had any of those, you could use that. I've seen people before, they'll have a box, they'll lay a bit of newspaper or brown paper, lay the apples individually out without touching one another, put another layer of newspaper or brown paper and do the same. Because I have so much, I can't do that. I would need a lot of box space, but that's a nice idea for if you have a few for trying to store. Because I'm wrapping these in individually, I can stack a good few in a crate. Ideally, these veg crates are really good, but I have a lot of cardboard boxes that I'll store them in here. As long as it's not getting wet, it's fine. It stays dry in here. Temperature is cool. The boxes will be stored up off the ground as well. which is nice. They're not in contact with the damp ground as well, which is important. If you leave stuff on the ground, and particularly if I have these cardboard boxes now, they will draw in a lot of moisture from the ground. So having it up on a bench is probably the best way to go as well. So I'll just mention my greenhouse here. It's a timber frame greenhouse. There's not much going on here in winter. I will have a few things planted, like I have a bit of kale and wild rocket there. Don't really have much winter salad, but it turns into more of a storage area more than anything else. If you follow me, you know I try to grow as a lot outside as I can, but I have all my onions stored in here and some of my garlic. But yeah, it just turns into more of a storage area than anything else during the winter months. So I'll start off with using this paper, so I can nearly half that. You want enough around it that it's almost getting double the paper, newspaper, so just in case it does get a bit damp. But you're not using anything to seal it like sellotape or anything. But what you're doing is you're just basically scrunching the paper all up around it. Like that. That's all you're doing, and then you're just placing that directly in the box. So I'll build it up maybe 3 layers in that box of apples, and then just set that aside. So it's important when I'm going through these apples as well, when I'm wrapping them, that I'm kind of doing a bit of quality control as well. So I don't want to be wrapping anything that has any damage on them, because they'll just start rotting straight away. So when I picked these, I did quality control when I picked them. Anything that was bruised or damaged, I kept them separate and I used them straight away. And then the rest got stored here. That was able to keep better. But make sure they're somewhat firm. Anything really soft but looks alright, I'll keep that aside and I won't wrap them, and I'll use those as soon as I can. Any big bruising or any dents in it, I'll leave those aside as well. And then obviously anything rotten then gets thrown in the compost. So I'll start coming across stuff like that. So if you're using a newspaper as well, you just need kind of one page per apple, I find. So I like to go ahead and rip it first and get a good stockpile of that made up. So then I just wrapping apples. So you don't need one big sheet, you just need the one page of the newspaper. So the same idea again, it's go back around. And that's it. And that just goes into the box as well. So these are cooking apple. The variety I don't know. So I have one old cooking apple tree. So it was planted in the 1960s, I think. So it's old enough. I remember there was a period there where it didn't fruit at all for years. And in the last 5 years, it's been producing fruit. But like I said, this year for fruits was unbelievable. I think everyone has been overwhelmed with particularly apples and all that. But yeah, it's just the year. I've never tried this with eaten apples. I can imagine it'll have the same impact, and they probably wouldn't store as long, I feel. All depends on the variety. So you have apples that have a lot softer skin. These cooking apples are quite good because they have a lot tougher skin than your eaten apples, so that's why they would last a bit longer. But it'll definitely extend your apple harvest if you're to do this as well with your eaten apples. just with placing the apples in the box, so you can do 2 or 3 layers depending on your box. But sometimes when you place it in the box, you know, that will flap up. But if you place that downwards, that will keep it sealed and it won't pop up. So I don't see the point of going, you know, sealing them with sticky tape or something like that. So if you just place it down in the box, that way it won't flap up compared to if you're to leave it like that. You know, it's open and it's more likely then to be exposed. So wrap it around like that and just place it down. And they all kind of sit into one another and stack, which is nice as well. So this is the Amazon packaging. You obviously have to make it into squares. But this stuff is nice, it's really thick. It's probably a bit small. Or we can use less of this. But yeah, that's nice and strong stuff. Good way to use packaging and stuff instead of filling up your recycling bin. The likes of this thing, when you're unwrapping the apples and using them, that stuff can go in the compost then as well. It's just a brown material and it'll just break down into your compost as well. So I've run out of newspaper and brown paper, so I've managed to get 2 full boxes and I still have a load to wrap. Quality's still fairly good. Any really small ones as well, and just keep them to one side and I'll try and use those straight away. I'd rather use them up than wrapping them. But quality's fairly good. There's very little rotten ones. There's kind of ones with like a bit of bruising and stuff on them, but they're still fine. So in total I have between 50 and 60 kilos of the apples. I still have a fair few to go, but I'll source more paper and get these wrapped up over the next week. Once I have them all done, they'll go up here on the shelf and I'll just take them as I need them like this. They won't get any additional cover. But what I like to do, especially now when we come after the new year, is I'll just go along and give them a little test like that. If they're gone soft, then I'll just take them out. Which it will happen, particularly kind of late February now. You'll start getting ones that will start falling off. If I know we're getting periods of frost for more than a few days, I probably will come in here and put a cloth or something like that over them just to stop any potential frost from settling on them, and that's all really I can do. Yeah, so I'm going to go inside now for the rest of the day, but I'm going to bring some of these with me and make some maybe apple crumble or something. The really good thing about this jacket is it's like a pouch here in the front. I always have a load of different tools and stuff in there, but very handy for the apples. This is not an advertisement for this coat or anything, but I must say it's very handy. Get a good 15 apples in there, no bother.